Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gail the Caribbean.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Connections 5.8G Alive. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus, and as usual with me on the show is my colleague.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Independence to Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, one of the co-creators. I'm getting excited about independence, Jennifer. Jennifer, I think we should start this show recognizing our 61st by playing our national anthem. What do you think? What do you think?
I totally agree. I find that's a nice way of doing it.
This is Pan Month. It is independence. It was emancipation. And I think we should have our national anthem on the steel pan. So happy independence, Trinidad. Enjoy this. To Trinidad and Tobago. I have Jennifer's flag. This is Jennifer's flag.
You know, you realize that, right? I'm supposed to have that. Yeah. So happy independence to you. You know, independence, Terry-Ann, is such an important celebration.
Yes.
For Trinidad and Tobago, and for me, Terry-Ann, you know, we lived in Belmont. And every year, the entire family, we dress up in our red, white, and black and go around to that savannah to watch the parade. I mean, that was a big thing, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, you from start to finish, and we couldn't wait for the ending because, you know, then it's got to jump up. So you jump up on the street and you're waving, and, you know, you always know someone who either in the regiment or in the police, in one of the services, to shout out.
Yes, yes.
So you say, look for them, you know, carnival time, you shout out and wave to the masqueraders.
Yeah.
So you shout out to them and they wave. It's really beautiful, you know, and a happy time.
Yeah, yeah.
I still feel I should do it again tomorrow. I loved it. It's in my blood.
Yeah.
And as this guy say, I love my country.
Yeah, I think that is the thing. You might have the parade and there's excitement about it. I always get up and watch it on TV. I always watch it. I like to watch it. I love to see a military march and stuff like that. But I think in spite of all the old talk and the craziness, every country fighting down politics, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I love my country. I choose to be nowhere else. I have traveled, I have seen different things, and I am yet to see the country or the circumstance that will cause me to say no. I understand that for many people, the Caribbean, you've got to go, you've got to do whatever. But for those who remain, it's my home. Trinidad and Tobago is my home, that unified nation state. And I am a very proud Trinbagonian. So when I say happy independence, is with all the bacchanal and the confusion and the politics and the bandits and the is with everybody. I love you all.
We have a lot to offer, and I believe our people, as you said, in spite of, we have lots of challenges like other countries, and some of us may think we are the worst, and I know we are not. But amidst it, Terry-Ann, we always have something to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we always have occasions. We get the holidays that we can really forget sometimes about all the troubles and go by the beach or jump up on the streets. It's not carnival time, but you could still go out on the streets and jump up, even if, you know, you may have pan on the road here, but also you go to certain spots, whether it's in Tongani Avenue, whether it's Shogunas on the main road, whether it's down Toko side. Always have, for the occasions, you could always find a group of people playing, making music, their own music, or playing loud music. But it's a celebration. And they're celebrating their life. It's not that life perfect for them, but they are willing as a community. You come out in the community and you enjoy life. I'm not sure how many other places you could see can do that and do it freely, you know. And yes, we have the mix of races. Okay, what you say. When it's time to celebrate, you pass any club, any rum shop, anything. Tell me if it's not a mixed thing. You understand? We mix when we celebrating, whether you like it or not. That's a fact.
Even when we
struggle. That community spirit is always great, Terry-Ann, when we celebrate it.
Yeah. But you know, even when we look at how we could celebrate to escape the difficulties of life. And even in the midst of difficulty and challenge, when we look at how we persist and grit and persevere and go down. And I mean, we will riot and protest against the government. We never riot and protest against each other. We never do that. You know, we'll get together and do it, and then we quarrel with the government. Don't matter which government. Come and fix the hole. Do this, do that. But we really are an amazing people, resilient, resourceful, talented, and very welcoming. And I am proud of us, and I am very proud of us these days.
Definitely.
No. But anyway, Jennifer, while we're celebrating independence, and listen, August and September are fun months for us, you know, because we start with emancipation, then now August is Pan month, the 11th is Pan Day, but it is Pan month for us, and we ended with independence, and then Republic.
Yeah, Republic coming up,
and we join in the celebrations. But you know, one of the things I want to talk about today, before we get on to our guest, who is really going to epitomize this, and Jennifer, we've been talking about it, this need for us to go out, reach out, be in community, the tribe part of us. It is so, so important. And more, you all out there, Gail supporters, people on the street, keep telling us about how much this every week means to you. In terms of, there's really a community knit together. And Jennifer, that puts a whole different perspective when we decide to have events or activities that allow us to meet each other on the road. Not so?
Yeah, community is important. community, as we all know, it brings us together. And when you say community, you could create, your own, as I say, create your vibes.
Yes.
And that for us, Tarian, we are bringing a group, as we refer to our cohort, together and in doing different activities. So on one side, we may have, this road trip, we're looking forward to this road trip. Everybody is so excited. And so we say, okay, so we're having this road trip and you could come together. And then we look and say, okay, what are we doing next? And say, we want something different, but we're not telling you what we're doing next year. But the main thing, Terry-Ann, and what makes me so happy is the joy, the energy on the day. I really do appreciate when our tribe come together and they tell us, you know what, we are so happy that you all doing this. Yes, there are other people doing it, but they feel this is their grouping. They feel comfortable among the 5.8G tribe. Because these are the people that we have here together with us, not too young, not the under 50s, because we say we're leaving them out. This is our stage. And Tarian, we created the stage for our community. Yeah. We actually created a stage for our community, a stage that allows them to free up, to meet new people. What do you say? We're building community on this stage. Let me just put it like that. Yeah. We're building community on this stage.
And I want to say something that really strikes me, and I'm saying this in response to some comments that people make in terms of coming on these trips and so on, and that fear, and I call the word fear, of coming out on your own and meeting people. Whenever we have events, there are at least 3 or 4 people who walk in there not knowing a soul.
Yeah.
And because it's arranged to be a safe gathering and a safe transmittal, and they all come back and say, oh my God, this was so good. I had so much fun. And I've met this one. And, there are people who walk onto those trips on their own. They do not know anyone. They don't know us. They will call based on this conversation here. They will call and say, well, I want to come. And when you see somebody walking towards the group at the meeting point, you have to say, hey, you and Jane?
And guess what? You don't have to walk with no basket of food. You don't have to get up and cook or do anything. Terry-Ann is make sure, listen to me, that there's always food being provided. So
in hospitality,
there would be lots of food and things to eat and drink. We say no alcohol, and next thing you know, she's making sangria.
That's just...
Yeah. Last time we even had wine. No alcohol, but we had wine.
I don't want something extra. Southern hospitality. And we know where we're going this time. We're going deep south. So it's hospitality. Yeah. So Jennifer, let's give everyone a little reminder, because whether you're on your own, whatever it is, we are going 22nd of September to Ikakas. Here's your reminder. We have increased capacity. So it's not unlimited. I think half of the new capacity full already. So we still have time for you. Bring along a friend, and we're going to have some really, really fun adventures on the bus as we're going down. We're saying that.
Yeah. So someone is asking, Jennifer, where are we meeting and all? I said, don't worry. We have a nice surprise coming up. You're going to be sitting in luxury, you know?
Yeah. And we're going to have entertainment on the way. There is entertainment on the way because it's a long trip. You know, Jennifer said, Tarian, this is a long one because normally we'd have stuff going on at the event. How are we to entertain people? And boy, oh boy, the trip is going to be a trip.
Having entertainment.
But of course, soon.
You know, you can always expect us to come different, huh? To look for ways for you to make sure you're comfortable and happy.
Yeah. But, you know, as we talk about all those things, we have to get on to our tribe because we have a special guest who really, really reflects our spirit of independence and what being a member of this great tribe is all about. So let's get into being a tribe. Good.
So yes, folks, as mentioned, we have this very special guest with us this evening. And this guest, I say special because Gail has been following us since we started. So she is one of our Connections 50 Plus, one of our favorite tribe. So let me introduce her for me. This is Gail Kelly-Paul, and as mentioned, Gail is within our tribe. And Gail is here just to share her story, to see how much fun she's having on the third act stage. Gail, welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gail Kelly-Paul, and it's my pleasure for being here this evening to share with Jennifer and Tarian and other members of our tribe.
So, Gail, you're a person, you know, I always admire you. Every time I see you around, which is I know you for some years
everywhere.
now.
She likes to knock about everywhere.
And especially everything we have, your personality, you're always so very pleasant, so very happy. And, you know, looking at you, say, well, you know, we say, Gail, have no worries. She seemed to be really have it together. Tell me, Gail, in terms of you coming on the stage, having left the corporate world, with all your responsibilities and moving from that corporate world to us now, being so happy on the stage. Could you just share with us from then, you know, how you made that switch over or the transition?
Well, it was a wonderful transition for me because I was thinking of it all along before retirement. I am retired 7 years now, and I would say that I have not really missed the corporate world, although I give back to an organization by doing some reviews of loans, a credit union. And one of the things that I did is that I realized that it was a transformation for me because my husband was retired before I was, and I'm coming home to him now 24/7 because all our lives together, we would have been working. So 24/7 wasn't our thing. So I had to transform myself now into dealing with my partner on a 24/7 basis. And it's something I think that we don't realize because these things is what could make you and your partner get closer or draw you all apart. Because now you have to share that living space 24/7. So you have to learn to coexist for 24/7, which is something wasn't part of your life before. So it was a transition, and I was planning for it, planning how I'm going to deal with it. And especially if you come from a position of where you used to delegate, You can't come home and delegate to him or even delegate to your friends and relatives because that was your modus. I mean, like I was in the corporate world for almost 40 years. So, that was part of what I did, service the people. So you have to do that introspection now and plan out how you're going to transition from that life to this 24/7 life. And it has been working quite well for me, I would say.
Congrats. So I know as you go along, you'll tell us more of the secrets, a little secret, yeah, to help you, as you move along. Yeah. Terry, you want to come in here?
Gail, could you give us a sense of what did you do, the industry you worked, if you want to say, what was your corporate life? So what were you transitioning from?
From banking.
And where were you in, what level were you in? So people will have a sense of what the previous 24/7 was like. In terms of
Well, I retired as an operations officer in the bank. So I had
That's
like
very hectic.
supervisors and staff and under me. So that, in a sense, is where the delegating part of the function came in. To transform from, expecting certain, people still tell me, Gail, you still answer the phone as if you're not at work anymore, You're home. They find I still answer my phone calls as if I was still in the corporate world. But I guess habit, it's hard to kind of break, and if it's part of you, that is. So and that was what I used to do, banking and service the people.
Yes. So you were in a very time sensitive, deadline oriented, low tolerance for errors, and always the customer is right. So back office nonsense really is not to be interfered with the customer experience. So how did your husband take to this person coming into his calm retirement space? Because he may have had a problem bigger than yours.
He made the adjustment quite nicely because he's peaceful, and I guess we have a peaceful life, and he conforms, I would say, graciously. He knows when to ignore me, if you want to use that word. He knows when, he has a calming way of him. He has always been that way, very patient and understanding. So he abides with me, and what I do is that I try not to take what I have for granted. I'm very conscious of my living, what I want. So I try not to take things for granted and try to always compromise, and because in the corporate world too, you had to compromise dealing with customers. So it was always a part of me to compromise to get the best result that you can get. So it's the same thing at home. We compromise with each other.
I think Jennifer and I have a saying that you've been retired, you said, for 6-7 years. And we have a saying that the first 3 years is really a transition and the rest is retirement. Have you validated that in that were those first 3 years immediately after leaving were different to your immediate past 4 years?
Well, I got to walk every morning. That was good. Because I always used to watch people when I'm leaving home walking around the mall and stuff. And I used to say, when will I be doing this? So it was a pleasure. And what happened, my body got so accustomed to the timing of rising that I still rise at that time. Wow. So that exercise time for me is what I put into that. And then I took up planting like flowers and that kind of a thing because I like outdoors. I like to sit down outside a lot. Great. So That's how I transform.
Gail, you said you prepared. How long it took you? So your husband retired before you did. So you would have observed how he was dealing with his retirement period. All right. In terms of your planning, putting things in place for that transformation, did you have specific things that you look at? See that you know that when you now retire and go home with your hubby 24/7, that these are the things, the activities you may pay attention to, or this is the behaviors you would, you will adopt during that period.
Well, I wanted to be debt free, so that was
Mm-hmm.
part of my organization. And like what I do is when I speak to customers, I speak to myself as well because
Okay.
I prefer to walk the talk. So the
Yeah.
advice I give to you, I'm really reinforcing it in my personal life. And I felt that finances always seem to be a problem in people's lives that kind of keep them apart. So I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want that to be in my personal space. So we organized so that when we are both retired, it would be much easy for us to go wherever we wanted to go, because we are not time constrained anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he has a property in Tobago, so we try to go not as often as we should, but that we could go now without having to think about, have to come back to get to work and that kind
Mm-hmm.
of a thing. To make the life a little more exciting now, because you still have to put some pump into it, you know. So we plan that way so that the finances is organized, space is organized so that you could go and come when you want. And he reads a lot. So I give him his space and he watch a lot of documentaries and university programs because he's from the background of television. And he watches things with that still in mind, the production of the whatever he's viewing. So we do watch sometimes a movie or something together, where men and their sports and stuff. And so I give him his space to watch he wants to watch, and I watch what I want to watch. Sometimes I will just hear violence, violence, if I'm watching a movie with a little violence in it. He keeps away from those kind of
Mm-hmm.
productions. But we do share a movie or two or watch shows together from time to time so that we could communicate about it and life issues with programs. But the main thing is making your life peaceful and comfortable.
And not be, you said it too, add some little pump into it,
Yes.
because it is very easy. Like only today I was watching a show. Again, these documentaries, different, and they were talking about the aging and what you call it, social isolation. And it is so easy when you retire, even with your partner there with you. Both persons could be just could isolate themselves from the outside and just
Yeah,
remain in
yeah.
this house. So it's really hearing you in terms of saying that you be aware of it. So you actually make provisions knowing that in terms of your financial situation, and I know too you like to travel, that and you could also, go to Bago, get out of the house a bit, is that the same? You're not
Yeah,
remaining in the
yeah.
house.
From one house to the next.
Right. And also you mentioned earlier about keeping active, and I know you love your plants. And we also talk about getting a hobby, doing things you really love. Just share with us or share with the audience your All the time you take with your plans. Sorry, you can't take us around your God. But the fulfillment you get from just, dealing with your plans.
Well, what I have found, and this is my personal experience, I found that after walking, I will come and I will attend to the plants and clean up the yard because I have two little pumpeks. And because I like to sit outside, I always want the ambience to be refreshing. So I'll clean
Yeah.
up after them in the morning. And I found that playing in the dirt, it eases my pain. It somehow when I'm in my plants, I don't feel I feel energized. I don't feel aches and pain. Maybe I might feel it a day or two after, because sometimes when you get into it, you kind of overdo a little bit. But the
Yeah.
joy, I guess, is seeing them bloom. You get that feeling. And sometimes when people say, Gail, how you deal with this looking so beautiful or that. But I have a little issue with myself. I invest in plants that I like, but
Mhm.
I don't know the names of plants. I
You
would
know how it
just do,
looks.
Yeah.
yes, how it looks. I know it beautify the place. Yeah. The back was supposed to be for my husband, for him to plant. Well, he plants a lot. If he eats a good avocado, he sets it and he plants it. Next thing you know, you have about 3, 4 trees to take to Tobago, or he gives away. But he was supposed to be doing the vegetables and stuff like that. So we just have like seasoning plants, not the
Not
other things
food.
that he had. Yeah. He kind of stay away from the yard a little bit. He probably think it's my baby, so you go ahead with what you want to do,
Yes.
you know. But that's how it gives me great joy and pleasure in playing with Mother Earth, I would say.
Okay, like in all of us, we have our ups and downs, and we have to deal with crisis and certain situation. Challenges comes our way, and that's life. How you how do you handle certain challenges? That normally could put you, and I like to use the local word, could put you in a tailspin. And some people is just maybe some people may shut down, some people may just be complaining. How do you deal with your challenges?
Um, I would say we need to infuse enthusiasm in our lives. And
Mhm.
many times there are things around us that we could, be negative about. But if you think positive, you soon find a positive mechanism to deal with your situation. And that's how I deal with. I kind of look for a positive outcome, because sometimes, although things happen in your life that may make you feel a bit unhappy or weary, when you look at it or think about it deeply, there's a lesson in it for you to learn.
Yeah.
And that lesson strengthens you most of the time, because it might be a lesson for not just you, but to pass on to somebody else. Or sometimes you may see something that this have you distraught, but it's not your personal problem. It might be a family problem or a neighbor's problem or something like that. But there's something to take from it. And many times I think we don't look at it that way. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things too, I think we are privileged. Just waking up in the morning healthy, you just have to develop that joyous spirit. Maybe
Yeah.
it's easy for me to say because I've planned my life around peace, and um, there's not really any turmoil in my life. There's turmoil in the world, but
Yeah.
I try to deal with it in a positive way and with a lot of positive enthusiasm. And I guess that's how I deal with situations that is not pleasing around me. I kind of look for the positivity in it, where I could find the positivity in it, you know, or what lessons I could learn to share with somebody else, how they could move on from this to that, because we do have like deaths in your family, friends, relatives. We had the situation with COVID, and I guess every one of us knows somebody who died from COVID. And COVID too brought a lot of lessons and, feelings and different way to look at things or look at life, because I have 3 sisters who live in the US. And when I heard people dying like that in the beginning, you were wondering if you would see anyone of your family alive again, and that kind of a thing. It had nights of sleeplessness, and we survived it. And I think that is one of the things for us to be grateful for, that we are alive. We passed through something that maybe even our parents didn't know about epidemic or something like COVID. We know about polio and that kind of stuff. But it was an experience to kind of bring you closer to people, friends, relatives alike.
Yeah.
And also to kind of do some introspection in your life and probably live it a little differently, because it made you understand that tomorrow is not promised to anyone. And also in life, we don't know what will happen to us. And spiritually or otherwise, we have to prepare ourselves. Most times we go to a funeral and the priest or the minister say, "Are you ready? Are you preparing yourself?" So that was another lesson taught, in the sense of preparing yourself, because tomorrow it could have been you, me, your husband, your children, anything like that. So it did a lot for me, and how I look at life, and what happened to it. It just didn't stay with me then. Now we have ride through that storm, and the lessons that you learn from there, you need to take it away with you and live it as much as you can. It was not just for that period of time. So now things seem to be normal. You're going back to your old habits, old ways, and that kind of a thing. You try to even make the transition from then to now. What are you going to do different in your life now? What lessons do you take away from that experience? And we need to do a lot of soul searching and, transformation in our lives to make your life happy. Finances is not all, but how you live with people around you, how you live with people on the whole, even in your own household. Because you want, when somebody come to your home, that they also feel that energy, so they could take that away with them too. So I think that's how how I live my life, to make that peaceful, that peace that I want. I try to build that peace. Yeah.
I think one of the things that struck me as you spoke is that you plan for peace. And I think that is a very, very proactive way about approaching life. So when you say you plan for peace, and I'm saying this because especially in our cohort, it's the things aren't the problem. it's always people. It's always people. If it's not a partner, it's a child, it's a sister, a brother, a mother, a father, a neighbor, something. And it almost seems sometimes like they're ganging up to take your piece from you when you look like. So when you say you plan for peace, I get the sense of you being proactive. What is that like?
Okay, I'll give you an example, right? Talking about the two puppies that I have, the two dogs, right? I used to allow them to roam the whole space, the whole 4 sides of the house, right? And if you're familiar with dogs, wherever they go, they like to mark their pathway. And because if it's 2 of them, they have to mark their spot, their territory. So on the eastern side, I have a neighbor. I live at Twin Cities, so you know the closeness of the properties. And it's not a wall fence, it's a wire fence. So sometimes in the night after they have their dinner, they will mess there. And I found that it was not pleasing when the neighbor opened their washroom door, or open the kitchen first thing in the morning to be greeted like that. So what I did is I put a barrier so they cannot go on that side of the house. So I take away, I remain with that peace with my neighbors, because sometimes people don't tell you something, but just what you don't want for yourself, you don't want to give to somebody else. So that is one action of peace that I incorporate, because I am not letting you get up in the morning and I am vexatious to your spirit. Right? So that's just an example of one way of keeping the peace.
That's a fantastic example, I think, Jennifer, because so many people, you are not invested in being right and proving yourself right. You're looking at a situation and you being proactive before the neighbor even say, you are there thinking about your neighbor. It really speaks to the compassion that is part of your makeup. And I think that is something that is so commendable. And I think you really have to have that if you are to plan for peace, because most person will wait until a complaint is made and then have a little tension before dealing with the situation. I love that. I'm wondering if I am ever so proactive about my neighbors.
A second example is a mango tree, a starch mango tree grew up in my, well, I will not say really in my yard. It grew up in the bounds of 4 people, right in the bounds of the 4. But you could say it basically originated by me. And what I do is that I trim it so that it does not affect the other 3 homes. So that is a part of peace too, because everybody enjoys the fruit, but when coming to, if a branch could fall on your house or touch your house or whatever, that's another issue. So I maintain it so that it does not humbug somebody else. Although I didn't plant it, it grew up there in the bounds of the 4 homes. So that's another way of exerting peace among your neighbors, because it might not affect you, but it could affect somebody else. But you don't have to wait till it affect Tom or Dick or Harry. You know, you be proactive and keep the peace then. Keep the peace. The fruits could share, but the maintenance, somebody have to be responsible for it, which I do without thinking about it or anything like that. It's just keeping the peace.
You know, Gail, actually today, and Terrian and I chatted, and we really remember, Terrian, when you mentioned, you really have to examine what gives you that peace. And if you know, and you have to gave two very good examples there. If we know what we love, what will give us that peace, and we were talking, and similar to you, that we like nature and the outdoors, and let the outdoors come in, bringing in that nice, clean, fresh energy. If we know that, you really shouldn't be selfish. And because this is what you want, you block out, you don't care what will give the other person peace. And this it focuses on you. This is what you love. Then spread that to others. Let them enjoy. And you mentioned, and I love the examples, the fruits. Not because they're getting out of it too, you're leaving it to them. Because in addition to it worries you, it's taking away that peace from you. Because when your neighbor, if one complain, whether they're eating the food or not, if they complain, you're not feeling good about it because you want peace in your life.
Yeah.
So you're creating that nice space, you're creating that positive energy around you. And just when you do it around you, around them also.
Yeah.
You're spreading that positivity. And this is what, we really should be aware of. Sometimes it's selfish and we say, I have a situation, and Terry, I know I'm dealing with. And I'm saying, oh gosh, gives consideration to others now. If you see me and like I watch you, Gail, and I know what you like, you just mentioned what gave you peace. Why would I want now to go and take away that from you? You understand?
But you also saying about the stage we're in at this time in our lives. Why would I want to go to the courthouse now? you know,
I think sometimes we just don't project. We like you said, you plan for peace. So in your mind, next week, next month, next year, I want peace. So when things that are coming up that would likely disrupt the peace, you can dip it in the bud. But a lot of us don't carry the mindset of I live amongst people, and if I want peace, it will have to come from how I deal with people. But most of us
it
with
begins with
our
me.
agenda.
It begins with me. Begins with me.
Yeah.
I went to Nibdeck good maybe about 15 or so years ago, where they stole our car boxing night, and we had to go to court because they found the guy with the car and all of that. And it wasn't a nice experience going to court, so I don't want to go there again. So I tried to keep the peace.
So Gail, Terry, I know you're cut this, but you're looking at the time, and are we ready to wrap up at this
We
stage?
have about
Because
10 minutes again. We have about 10 minutes again. Yes. Yes. No. But Gail, I want to ask you one question. I know we talked about your home and the garden and the pets, and you have a wonderful relationship with your husband. And I think that probably caters for about 80% of your peace. But you, Gail, the individual, how does Gail have fun? And what makes Gail happy outside of that home pod on the third act stage?
I have fun with Jennifer and Terry Ann. They do delight me every week, with your topics.
I didn't put a question.
this is not an ad, and we
This
didn't
is
tell her to say that.
I didn't plan that.
But thanks, Gail. Yeah.
And the little part of going on a little outing, that helps too. And I'm normally a peaceful person. So that's how I maintain my peace. You go to church, you communicate with people. If somebody call you for advice, because some of your customers don't really leave you.
Yeah.
Some of them don't make a decision without running it by you first, you know. You still make that effort to, that's how I maintain my peace, by helping other people, by listening to other people.
Yeah.
It don't have to be my problem, you know. And when I put my head down to sleep at night, I feel good because I feel that I've impacted in somebody else's life and made a difference in somebody else's life. So I maintain that from what I did at the job. You know, it was not just somebody coming to get a loan or somebody coming. I wanted to enrich your life when you come to me. Because sometimes somebody come for something and that's not what they really want or even need. So once I enrich somebody else's life, that peace stays with me. I can go to bed fulfilled and thank God for sparing my life, for seeing a day and enriching somebody else's life, and ask him to give me another day.
One at a time.
Yes.
Well, I think that's such a great way to live this aspect, you know, on the stage. And most of us want that. You want peace, you want happiness, you want to help others. And as you say, you feel good when you do that. And what you, I mean, all the things that you mentioned that you do there, it really brings you, and you can see it as you speak. You know you're really happy with your life. You're really happy with your life. And for those who listening, who, you know, you still feeling grumpy and complaining because we don't have money, we don't have this, we don't have that, is that positive mindset makes a difference. You actually plan for peace. You actually plan to be happy. You actually plan for other people's lives to be happy. Yeah, you know? And I must congratulate you, Gail, and continue with that beautiful spirit of yours, you know, and
Thank you.
sending that positive energy to others.
Yeah.
I
Just
love
live
your
your life.
phrase.
Live your life with a little positive enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
that's
I
a good
And
I
it will
love
go a
that
long way.
phrase.
Just
I
think
love
of yourself as a blessing to humankind, and you will be a blessing. And you will see the blessings just coming to you, you know? Amidst all the turmoil in our lives, you know. The dogs may get you vexed sometimes, you know. The weather mightn't be pleasing to you the day you plan to do something, but you know, you work around it. Because sometimes the things we fuss about it, you realize that the day has passed and you move on, you know. So that's
absolutely.
all. We have to look for the positive in life. There's too much negative around. So if you do it individually, positive, it will kind of radiate, you know,
Yeah,
and not just say it, but walk it, live it. We could do it. You just have to make a little effort to do it. And I guess it came from the humble beginnings that most of us come from. Now that we are more affluent in life, we must remember our days of when you probably would have just settled for a little biscuit and not even cheese. Biscuit and biscuit, where you would have soak it in the tea.
Bush tea, the bush tea.
we have so much to be grateful for, especially as you say, you look back,
Yeah. But you
and
know, the
that's
more
just super
fluency you
speakers.
see in life, that peace just go away. We have to radiate and bring it back because we have it there, you know. We just have to generate it.
I don't think we have to go back to where you did biscuit and bush tea, but just look around and accept and see how much around you is there and it's good. And just be grateful for where you are. You've come so far, you know, come so far, and you have so much. And people who listened to last week's show know that we're not talking about so much with a dollar sign.
Yeah.
We are not talking about so much that's in the bank or the value of your car or your house, but it is your relationships, it is your friends, it is the fact that you can sit in the afternoon and enjoy the little moonlight and whatever. You don't need a fan or AC, go sit on your porch and don't be afraid of your porch because you're wondering who running around with malintent. God is with you. Relax. You know?
The positive vibes will radiate and the bandits will stay away. We hope. But you just have to think
Okay.
positive there, and all those blessings you will see they just coming onto you. You have to
Again,
just generate
thanks
a
so
little bit
much.
more positive.
Uh, Thanks so much for being our guest, for bringing joy to the show this evening,
Well, thanks for
and
having
giving
me.
our tribe so much to think about, actually planning for your peace. I love that.
And
So
Thank you.
thank you so much and
I,
be blessed.
I think, Gail, you've given us a beautiful pre-independence message that we really need at this time. A lot of Caribbean islands are celebrating independence in or around this month. I know Jamaica ourselves and some of the others. And it is really refreshing to have a conversation with a person like you who has planned for peace and enjoying the peace. And because you plan for peace, I'm sure there's all kinds of things coming to disrupt it. But hello, you have a plan for peace and you're okay. And you're not agitated with the going after peace. You're peacefully executing your plan.
You're
Yeah.
living the life. Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful. Happy independence to you and
Same
your
to you.
family.
You're most welcome.
Great. Jennifer, Gail Kelly-Paul has a spirit that I just love. She's calm yet strong. She is such a beautiful person. And I am just thrilled that she is so impacted by the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And when you listening to Gail, you can't help but feel relaxed and listen and say, you know what? That's a great idea. Let me go for that peace in life because this is what we all want. And sometimes you wonder and you might say, there's so much noise around you in different types that you wonder if you will ever, and you make the comment, you hear some people comment and say, oh God, I can't find that peace in my life at all. You understand? But we will say that and don't stop to listen in terms of going within to understand what it is we want, what it is we really want, and how do we get that. And from Gail speaking, does it seem difficult, Ariane? No, it's a consciousness. It's a consciousness.
What we have to say, and the thing that strikes me that's different is because I was really taken when she said, I plan for peace. And what are you talking about? But when we really look at it, Jennifer, a lot of us spend our times planning for war. We always have an agenda not for peace, but to bring fairness or to avoid being wronged or to protect. And once we start avoid being wrong, protect this one, you're putting up barriers and you're not being taken advantage of and you're sticking for your rights. All of that ends up in not planning for peace. And you're right, we just have to stop planning for the war and plan for peace. And
because Terrian, and we also have to check to see if we didn't bring that attitude, or using the word attitude, from the workplace. Because when in the workplace, it's a fight, I remember just before I made the decision to move on from my job, I remember one of my staff saying to me, Jennifer, you're in tired, fight. And I never forget that statement. And when that, first of all, when that was said to me, I kind of, you say back against the wall, I start to get tense because I'm
bristle.
How could she say that? But I was in that mode of thinking, look, I have to make some changes. And I have to make some changes to me, to how I think, because it was affecting me. And when I look back, and when she said fight, and it's not physical fighting, but Terry Ann, it's the argument to always prove a point, to put forward your case. So put forward in that case to me, for the staff, for this, and all that to prove what? To prove you see, especially as woman, I can do it, and a strong, and a right, and a this and a that and the other. But the aggression comes out all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, we are not aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we swear we say fighting for your rights and your rightful places there, and you're breaking the glass ceiling and all these things you're doing. But we don't realize it could be done in a different way. But the way we do it most of the time is fight.
It's a fight. It's a war.
Either with your mouth, with the words we say, with our actions and things. And when
our
you sit
attitude,
down,
we come into rooms aggressive and ready to fight.
And especially depending on no matter what position you're in, because if you're in a lower position, you're fighting whoever on top. If you're on top, you're fighting again. So if we recognize that in us and really check to see, did we bring that aggression into this third stage? Is that why we can't find that peace?
Yeah.
Because we didn't let go. Because when you listen to Gail, and she said, a transformation, she released that and prepared for being home. And I like that, 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you want your home to be like? And if your home to be peaceful, you cannot bring that aggression from that job into your home. Yeah.
Think about how
because that is negative energy you're bringing in.
And how the poetry affecting the neighbor. So
so this makes a difference. We need to check ourselves and ask that question. How do we find that peace in our lives?
Great. So everybody, have a beautiful independence. Make sure and call, book your seat for the 22nd of September, and we will see you. Plan for peace.
Okay. See you then. Bye. Enjoy tomorrow.
50 Plus Tribe, and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.